Alright, so far so good. I think now I need to do some research into Mario's enemies to try to figure out some more effective ways to take them down. Alright, it's time to look into these enemies. I guarantee I can find some better ways of taking them down. So let's take a look. Looks like Bowser's crew. We have a lot of Bowser's minions here, namely this big Bullet Bill, should be able to jump on him. Bowser himself, he's easy. But the Thwomp might be hard. Or the spikes. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll hit it with a hammer, like the Pokey. Maybe I'll cause it to fall into the lava. I wonder. Let's go find one and see what we can do. Where's the spikes? Wahoo! Hello everybody, I'm Meso, and welcome to my review of the LEGO Super Mario Set 71376 Thwomp Drop. This set retailed for $39.99 and contains 393 pieces. And you may be asking yourselves, Meso, why do you have this thing here? Well, two reasons. Number one, I don't actually have the box for this set, and I like having something else in the frame, so I just kind of had the starter set here to show off, visual diversity. But secondarily is because I can use this to segue into the point that this set is what you'll need to buy if you want LEGO Mario. Because LEGO Mario does not come in this set or any other set in the LEGO Mario line besides the starter course, which retails for $59.99. If you're looking to get these set as a gift for some kids or for their birthday, for Christmas or for yourself, whatever, if you want to do the action features and the digital game features for any of these sets, you will need the starter course. But yeah, this box is just gonna be chilling here for this review. Something I'd like to mention about this set that may be outdated by the time this video comes out. I actually hope it is. But at least in the month of release, which was August 2020, this set was very difficult to find, at least in America. And by difficult to find, I mean it's seemingly only being sold at LEGO stores and LEGO Shop at Home. And that may have changed by the time this video comes out, I hope so, but even still, just notate for the month of August, at the very least, it was impossible to find at Target stores, I think at Walmart stores, Best Buy, anywhere these sets were sold. This set seemingly wasn't even in the database. I know because I work at Target, and it wasn't even listed. So LEGO Shop at Home was, and maybe still is, your best bet. This set's really interesting, and it's gotten a lot of critique in the community, even among people who like these sets. Because the whole theme gets a lot of critique for not having minifigures, but this one's a little more controversial. So let's go ahead and dig into why that is. The Thwomp Drop Expansion Set is unique among the Super Mario lineup because it's more vertical than it is horizontal. The set stretches upwards and can be broken down into two disparate components, the Thwomp itself at the top of the high tower, and then the intricacies of the Technic systems and platform that make up the lower half of the set, which we're going to start with first. I absolutely love this lava platform at the very bottom of the set, as well as the Technic mechanisms and pillars that the little fire spike dudes sit up on. It's a very clever piece of aesthetic design that conveys the lava roots of this set's theming, and also sets up some really nice functions, namely the flinging forward of the fire guys and the skull platform that moves left and right across the lava flow, carrying Mario to safety. I especially like the design of the skull platform. I'm always a sucker for a skull done right. Looks really cool, looks really great. Big fan of that.
The pillars that form the left and the right of the set are also very well designed. You know, they add a little bit of texturing, some rockiness, some some architecture of sorts that helps sell this as more than just a straight up function and as part of a larger area. They're really good inclusion. Moving up towards the top of the set, you see this long beam that stretches upwards, eventually culminating with the Thwomp itself, which is impressive, though a bit controversial in terms of how it's built. Many people, myself included, do feel like it was a mistake to only have the spikes on the Thwomp face forward. It doesn't really look like its counterpart in game. It's missing the trademark spikes on the top, bottom, and sides. And it does harm its look when viewed from pretty much any angle other than the front, because it basically just looks like a regular block at that point, not Thwomp-like at all. I understand it was probably like a build or like a parts restriction that forced the sides to be smooth, but I do think it's a con for the model, and I wish it wasn't the case. Taking a look at the function itself, it all starts with the skull platform. When you put Mario on the skull platform and move him along the bottom there, it begins to retract the little red Technic pieces into the structure itself, which will cause the Thwomp to lower slightly. When you move Mario back underneath the Thwomp, it then pushes the other inwards, which causes him to drop even further, before a third push back in the opposite direction will cause the Thwomp to fall fully. Now, it does take a little bit to actually get Mario moving. There's a lot of friction on the little skull platform, so you do kind of have to hold the set with one hand and then move Mario with your other hand in order to effectively get the function to work to its fullest potential. So that is a bit of a problem, but it's in service of a really cool function that I think really does the set justice. With all that said, it's time we take a look at the set in action, run a test level, and see how well this function actually stacks up. Let's take a look.
So we've got it all set up here. As with every Mario set, it basically functions as a level from a Mario game if you combine the set with the starter pipe and the ending flag from the starter course set. It essentially allows you to begin the course with the pipe, end the course with the flag, and whatever you do in the middle gets you coins, which will boost your score. So we're going to fire up Mario, and we're going to give this course a go and see how many coins we can get in a single run. You ready? Let's go. Alright, so we're going to start by knocking over this fire guy. We're going to get the coins from him. Now, we're going to get on the skull thing, and we're going to begin. Go once, go twice, go 3 times. Took a few tries, but we got the coins. This guy flew all the way outside of the frame. So we're going to double back and get him. Now we're going to keep hopping along. Going to go up top. And boom, to the flag. Looks like 20 coins. Very nice. The biggest thing to note here is that the Thwomp, once you actually brought him down to your level, took about 5 consecutive jumps to take down. So he's no slouch. Meanwhile, the little fire dude pretty much only took 1 or 2, though I hopped on him a few extra times for good measure. The biggest trick with doing the action feature for this set is it requires a little bit of, I guess, holding the set in place. Because what I mean is, if I'm just trying to do this with one hand, it doesn't actually, there's too much friction. It just kind of moves the set along if I try to do this action feature. So what I ended up having to do was I held it with one hand and then I moved it along with the other hand. You know, it is a con for this set, but I mean, it's a pretty elaborate function, so it's understandable that it would have to be built a certain way. Just takes a little bit of extra work to get going, but it's one of the coolest they have to offer. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring everything back to ground zero, and we're going to give a final review of this set. But yeah, we've showcased the action features, we've showcased the build, the different play functionalities it has, so I think it's time for closing thoughts. I don't dislike this set as some others do. I think it's really cool. I think the idea behind it is pretty well executed. It's pretty original for this theme. The characters showcased are mostly cool. The lava bubbles, as mentioned, I think are wonderful little additions, and they really spice things up. The functionality where it launches out is really good. I like that a lot. The main controversial point of the set does come in with the Thwomp. And just to reiterate, you know, the spikes being on the inside instead of the outside, it does harm the silhouette of the Thwomp. It makes it not immediately evocative of what I would expect. I kind of get why they did it, because they wanted to match the blocky aesthetic, but it's not how I would have gone about things whatsoever. They should have found a way to do the spikes on the outside. I think making them almost crush inwards on the Thwomp's face, it creates this unsettling kind of appearance that, I mean, I can tell it's a Thwomp. It's not horrible, but it could have done with some refining, and I'm not really sure why they didn't do it, except maybe they didn't want a bunch of outward-facing spikes that could hurt kids' hands or something. I'm not really sure, because I mean, these things have no problem with having studs on the outside and spikes on top. I mean, even if they had kept the spikes like on the top or the bottom and maybe just had studs on the outside, even that would have been preferable to how it is now, where it's completely smooth. But for whatever reason, they didn't decide to do that, and it does not destroy the set. There's still a lot to enjoy here. However, once again, I will say that this might be a little subjective nitpick, but it is kind of a problem I have with the Boomer Bill set as well. The whole function of kind of moving over and under the Thwomp, just under the Thwomp, not over, but repeatedly moving under the Thwomp isn't really great, in my opinion. I get why. There's really no easier way they could have done this feature, and it does create the challenge. But in Mario games, if I get under Thwomp and I'm like home free, I'm not heading back. I'm not going back under him unless I just really need to backtrack for some reason. Like, it doesn't really jive with me in the same way I think they intended. The appeal of just, going under him once and, oh, there's really no danger because he's not going to fall. There's no danger at all. Then you go back under him again, he gets closer to falling. You go back under him again, you dodge him. Like, that's cool. That works really nicely. But honestly, the launching of the fireball is the cool part to me, more so than the Thwomp, because unless you're just very slow, the Thwomp can't really knock Mario off. Like, it's very difficult to fail this, is I guess what I'm getting at. You would really have to go out of your way to move this as slowly as possible. And even then, there's only a fail state on the third round, and it requires you to constantly go back under, which isn't how I play Mario games. So that might be a nitpick, but I'm sticking to it for this review. Kind of like the Boomer Bill, I felt the same way about that. Going back and forth, dodging, spinning bullet bills, not really something I can get behind. But again, I understand it's a LEGO set, there were limitations. This was a way to make a Thwomp set with some challenge at a $40 price bracket. If they had made this an $80 set, the track I'm sure would have been twice as long, and they could have had more, functions in the middle, more levers that would activate as you went along this one specific track. For $40, this isn't bad at all. And I do feel like the set does earn its price bracket. Because it might not look like there's a lot here, but the tower for the Thwomp is pretty, meaty. It's pretty substantial in terms of the build. I didn't feel like it wasn't worth the money paid. This is deserving of its spot in the theme. I don't think this deserves all the hate it's getting. and I would put it in my top spots. It's just got a few problems that prevent it from really being like, wow, the best set of the wave. But it's still really good, and I would recommend getting it if you're a fan of the lava aesthetic, because it pairs really well with Bowser's Castle, and even the Thwomp set. If you wanted to combine them together into one world, it works really well for that. And I think there's a lot of good, recognizable lava castle architecture and iconography here that makes it something cool to get if you're a fan of that, so long as little drawbacks don't bother you too bad. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. What do you think of the Thwomp Drop Expansion Set? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Demand the return of Vin and Mario, but he's still trapped. I'm still living the spotlight. We will continue to campaign until LEGO releases the Luigi figure. Once they can this dude and they get Luigi up in here, then we'll be in business. But thank you all very much for your support. I will see you next time for the last set of the wave. Thank you for watching another exciting LEGO Luigi review. Farewell.